to make the best first 11 footballers in the world. World Cup winner Lionel Messi, his rival Cristiano Ronaldo, and Ballon d'Or winner Rodri, as well as Vinicius Jr. are among the nominees for the men's 2024 FIFPRO Team of the Year. 7 Manchester City players are among the 11 Premier League stars nominated for the award, and the players include goalkeeper Ederson, defenders Ruben Diaz, Kyle Walker, midfielders Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, and striker Erling Haaland. For Ronaldo and Messi, they are the only 2 players from the list of 26 who play outside of Europe. And for Messi, his 18th nomination extends his record as the most nominated player in history, with Ronaldo closely behind on 16. And again, Ademola Lookman, ranked 14th best in the world by the Ballon d'Or, is missing from this list of footballers that will make the FIFPRO Team of the Year. And this is certainly generating reactions. Again, also calls into question the credibility of some of these football awards, as it were. Joining me to discuss this on the show this evening is David Doherty, a football administrator. David, good evening. It's good to have you on the show.
Yeah, good evening, Samson.
Okay, let's delve right into it. What was your initial reaction when you saw the list and Ademola Lookman was conspicuously missing?
I think it is shocking. I think, this again brings to mind why a lot of people question, the legitimacy or, the criteria that they use to selecting or nominating, most of these players when it comes to these awards. Ballon d'Or is one that has generated a lot of questions. Again, FIFPRO has again joined the ranks. So it's really frustrating that, a player that has done so much for both club and country, and also currently the one that would likely be the next African Player of the Year is not nominated on FIFPRO list. I'm a bit disappointed, and I think this needs to be looked at very well.
Okay, you look at this, names right there on the list that those have even questioned. Why should Lionel Messi be there, for example? We know quite well, yes, there was the Copa America triumph, but besides that, what exactly did he do right? For Ademola Lookman, we know quite well about his, heroics with Atalanta, especially in the Europa League, and then the final, where it scored a treble against a very dominant Bayer Leverkusen side all through the season. They were unbeaten in the German, domestic league, and also won the double. Is it an issue of oversight, in quote, or it calls into question the caliber of judges that seemingly predetermine the nominees before the voting process itself?
I think it's around those that probably sit down to then pick, the players that will definitely make the list. I think at times you ask questions why are, most times, take for example the Ballon d'Or, we tend to now understand that mostly journalists are the ones that making the numbers of those that do select players and all that. And I don't know for FIFPRO, I don't know how they go about this. I don't know what their criteria is like. I don't know what they look at, because if it is anything to do with football on and off the pitch, I think Lookman has been a good ambassador. He's done so very well for himself, done so very well in Europe, done so very well at club level, and also even on the soil of Africa. I think it has really showed that he's up there. He has what it takes. And then, I don't know, it's really frustrating. It's something I can't really pinpoint what exactly is why or what the reason is behind his omission.
Okay, we'll just, take a pause right now and pay some bills. When we get back, we'll be talking more about this, especially the credibility of football awards and how to restore the trust within the process, especially when it comes to the voting process or, awards that will be determined by a jury of judges. We'll be right back.
TVC Sport Desk.
Terra Cube is available in beef, chicken, jollof, and shrimp flavors at attractive prices of 100, 200, 500 naira, along with Saver and Super Saver packs.
Terra Cube, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
The world needs mums. with a splash of golden Terra oil. A mom can transform a frown into a smile. Change no thanks into yes please. Resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty family meals is all that matters. Where there are moms, there is love. Golden Terra oil for pure love.
Imagine lovely meals you can cook with these ingredients. You spend heavily, but no guarantee of a tasty meal. Not making a right choice of seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. One cube, endless possibilities.
TVC Sport Desk.
Thanks for staying tuned. We're still looking at the issue of Ademola Lookman's exclusion from the nominees of the FIFPRO Team of the Year, the men's category precisely, and I still have David Doherty, a football administrator, with me. David, you were saying earlier, that he's done everything that you would expect from a footballer, both for the national team and the club side as well. We know that the footballers, fellow footballers would vote to determine the, 11 members that will be on the team itself. But the exclusion raises a huge concern. Again, you look at it, for a player that was voted 14th in the best in the world for the Ballon d'Or awards, missing out on the FIFPRO raises lots of questions, especially in terms of nominations. Now, let's look at the credibility issue that has, bedeviled football awards over the last probably 20 years or probably since time memorial in terms of a player deserving of an award or not. Now, we know there are different, criteria to it, depending on the award. Certain categories are being voted for by journalists and players. Others, it has to do with judges. My question to you is simple. How do you think credibility, trust, can be restored to football awards, especially in the light of Ademola Lookman's exclusion?
I think it's for them to be a bit, open with how they come about this nomination. Also, I think they need to include some certain group into those that sits behind the nomination or the judges or whatever they want to use. I think coaches, players, maybe as administrators as well should be involved in this, not just journalists. Because what I've noticed is football is beyond people just writing about it. You also need people that are really into the game, that do really sit in that feels that are understood, that stays within, that are within the game, coach this game, they've played it, ex-players and all that. I think they should all be involved in it. I don't know how they go about these things. And really, this has really pushed a lot of people back. That has raised a lot of questions about the credibility of some of these awards. Ballon d'Or is of the recent one. Now, FIFPRO is coming into play again. So for a player that made 14, that is ranked 14th in the world, not making a spot in FIFPRO actually is laughable. And then you now wonder, why are then players trying to work hard to ensure that they do something for themselves and also for their country or their club. So I think this has to be looked at very well going forward. If they want people to believe and trust in the process, I think they should try and be open with this and make people understand what exactly is the reason behind why some certain players are not included in the process.
Okay, well, these nominations will always be subjective, and even when the winners are announced, there will still be a bit of subjectivity to it in terms of personal interest or regional interest as it were. But when you have a player rated 14th in the world by the Ballon d'Or, at the very least, it should be part of the nominees for this award. But let's move away from there now and talk about your ideal 11. We've seen, the various players nominated for this. But over the course of the last 1 year, who are the 11 players you think really did stand out and can actually fit into the FIFPRO Team of the Year?
I think for me, I've seen the list of players that they have there. If you look at, from goalkeeping to the defense and all that, there are a few players that that really they've actually put in the shift. Rodri is one of them. I'm a big fan of of him. I'm also, what do you call it? Vinicius and all that, they all done very well. Van Dijk also has done very well. I'm not actually picking on all those, not just the English. I'm quite familiar with the English ones, yeah. But in terms of those within, within the Spanish La Liga as well, I think there are some players that have really, really done so very well to be in that squad. But for Messi and Ronaldo, I think they've just been legendary. I think maybe FIFPRO is just actually, riding on, or not just, they are playing, time as we speak, but also what they bring to the table in terms of numbers, maybe in terms of the brand and all that, So maybe that's just, for me, I think that's the reason. They've done, like I said, they've done so very well for themselves. I think it's time for them to actually, maybe sit back and allow, new faces to come into the fold. And this is why, you question the likes of why Lookman is not in there. But in terms of others, I think, they've actually, been fair with the list that they actually put out there.
Okay, let's move past, the men now and talk about the women. In the women's category, Spain and Barcelona midfielder Aitana Bonmati, as well as Zambia and Orlando Pride striker, that's the Women's BBC Player of the Year award, Barbara Banda, have been nominated. We know goalkeeper Mary Epps, defender Alex Greenwood, midfielders Ella Tone, as well as Kira Walsh, and forward Alicia Russo are other nominees for the Women's Award. Quickly, is there anyone beating Bonmati to this award? That's why the fact that you have Alexis Putellas and, others.
I think it would be hard to say that anyone will beat her. Yeah, at times you don't know. These things are not. You can't really pinpoint what will be the end product of these things. At times, you'll find out that the person that everyone thinks is going to win it may end up not even winning the award. So I think let's just sit back and watch what will end up happening. But for me, I think everyone on that list have done so very well. Yeah, they've done well for themselves, and it's really a big thing if you have to use this to actually help build the morale of other young players that are coming up. Is another way to encourage players to actually commend them for what they've done over the season, and for them to also go forward to do more. So for me, I think it's just having to have the right person winning it, which is the most important thing, and then that will also help to restore that credibility and confidence in the award going forward.
Okay, before you go, let's talk English Premier League. We know matches would hold this midweek as the tight December fixtures begin in England. And in the first two fixtures on Tuesday evening, you have struggling Premier League newcomers Ipswich Town hosting Crystal Palace. And while coming from an embarrassing loss to Manchester United over the weekend, you have Ruud van Nistelrooy leading Leicester City in his first match as manager against West Ham United. We'll take a listen to the Dutch tactician speak about his interim stint at the helm of Manchester United and his hopes of replicating the feat at Leicester City. And when we get back, I'll get your thoughts concerning Ruud van Nistelrooy at the helm of affairs right there at the King Power Stadium.
When the first approach was there, and you're going to think about the club and the players and the setup and the training ground and all of these questions you have, and you're curious about people who work there, and steady the ship, I called it, and the 4 games, and now they're on a run of good results on top of those 4 games. So that's great to see. I really enjoyed it, being responsible, create a connection with the team, with the supporters, and able to turn the momentum for the club a little bit, and that is our job. And that felt great to do, and yeah, just got better. Now I'm in this position to do it again.
The big question is, can he do it again? He did steady the ship at Manchester United within 4 games before the arrival of Ruben Amorim. And the big question for so many people is, can he get Leicester City firing once again, especially with an agent, Jamie Vardy, in the squad? David, what do you make of his appointment as Leicester City's new coach? And against West Ham United later tonight, what are you expecting from Ruud van Nistelrooy?
For me, I would just, for me, it's simple. This is Premier League. This is not Manchester United. It's a different dressing room. It's a different player. different mindset, different approach. Don't forget, Manchester United is like a home for good Van Nistelrooy. So coming in there, he understood everything, the whole setup. He is aware, he knows who is who. But Leicester City is a different ball game entirely. But yeah, maybe we'll say, well, yeah, he's playing against a West Ham side that also coming, from the back of the loss in their last game, and then going into this against a struggling Leicester City. Would he be able to make a difference? That's where the question comes in. That is where the true test of what Van Nistelrooy is made of in terms of coaching, what he has got, the experience he has garnered, over time. All these things will come into play. And this is why you have to be ready. There's no too much time to get yourself or to relax, to get accustomed too much with the team. But you just have to be, ready to go when it comes to, having to, get into job space like coaching and all that. You get stuck today, before you know, you've been employed, and the next thing is the next assignment on the table. For me, I just want to wish him all the best. I hope he will be able to have the same, the same approach, the same mindset from the players. But one thing you always get is when the new coach comes into a setup, all the players tend to want to impress. They want to put in their 150 in the first game to try and impress the manager. Are we going to see that tonight? Fingers crossed. Yeah, let's just hope he's going to do well and start on the right note.
Okay, finally, David, FA Cup draws were held yesterday evening, talking about the third round, and holders Manchester United have been drawn away to record 14-time winners Arsenal in what will be a thrilling encounter. And there were audible groans by the watching supporters inside Old Trafford as the draws were made. Again, how do you see this pan out? It sets up an intriguing fixture for the neutrals, or for either teams, it is definitely not a good draw because it means one of them would miss out on the FA Cup title this season.
I think with the form Arsenal is as we speak, one would, be wondering, can Amorim, bring up something to try and stop them? Yes, don't forget it's an FA Cup. Both sides are they know what it has, what is at stake. Coming to Emirates would also be at an advantage to Arsenal, who are really, really doing very well. They've got their players that can turn things around, especially their captain. And at times we tend to underestimate what Partey brings to the table, and the likes of Saka and all that. So yeah, Amorim will go through the tough test, and let's see what happens at the end of the day. But for me, it's just to say to him, welcome to the English space where questions will be asked, and then yeah, if you can manage to grind results, then you're ready to go. I mean, with the team. So yeah, it's going to be a very good game. But I see Arsenal, going all the way in that game.
Okay, we'll leave it till January 11th when the third round of the FA Cup will begin. I would see who carries the day between Arsenal and Manchester United. It will be at the Emirates Stadium. The Gunners probably having the home advantage and should be a cracker. So many things can happen between now and then in terms of form for both sides. We'll just wait till January 11th. Thank you so much, David, for your time on the show this evening.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Okay, let's come back home and talk about the Nigerian Premier Football League. Match day 15 of the league will round off today, and that will be with Enyimba hosting the defending champions Enugu Rangers. It promises to be a titanic affair if you're